don't mean, don't feel sorry for ya. And how sad you're gonna be. I wish I could stick around to see your face when you realize you're permanently changed. And it's all thanks to me. I was one more coming here. You'll wake alone and run around your lonely home. Look for my face, but I'm already gone. You never called, never write me nothing. Set myself up to fall, and I was stupid to try. But there was something in the way, something in the way that you shut the door. When I couldn't get enough, and blew me off, I just kept dragging myself back for more. By all means, I'm getting mad. Don't mean I don't feel sorry for ya. And how sad you're gonna be. I wish I could stick around to see your face when you realize you're permanently changed. And it's all thanks to me. I was one for coming here. You'll wake alone and run around your lonely home. Look for my face, but I'm already gone. One day you're gonna see the life sentence that you gave to me, but I swear one day we will share this cell. I know it's cold, but I will keep us warm with all the hate I radiate will be walking hand in hand in hell. And how sad you're gonna be. I wish I could stick around to see your face when you realize you're permanently changed. And it's all thanks to me. I was one for coming here. You'll wake alone and run around your lonely home. Look for my face, but I'm already gone. I cursed to hell the magistrate who granted this unholy fate. But I know I act it is myself. I'm bound by law to hell, and it's sick humans and their needs, living in a fairy tale that's tearing up the seams. Dang, me jerk, devil in a dress, exactly what you see. Sick. You made a mess of things. My what? A mess you made. I hate the way you make me feel. I hate the way you make me. In your world, it's cold outside, so button up and open wide. I hate the way you make me feel. Sick. Memory serves me correct. Then I gave you all, you gave me less than your sexcapades. Delivered checks and can't afford you self-respect. And it's sick humans on their knees, living in a fairy tale that's tearing at the seams. Dang, you jerk, devil in a dress, exactly what you see. Sick. You made a mess of things. My what? A mess you made. I hate the way you make me feel. I hate the way you make me. In your world, it's cold outside, so button up and open wide. I hate the way you make me feel. Sick. fill old holes, grow up building lives with holes in all our walls. The walls can fall, and then you will be spared grace to save the day. But your prayer's not too late. Spare grace can be dead away.
Sick, sick, sick. It's sick, sick, sick. Sick, sick, sick. Sick, sick, sick.
You made a mess of things. My, what a mess you made. I hate the way you let me feel. I hate the way you let me. Your world is cold outside, so button up and open wide. I hate the way you let me feel. Sick, sick, sick. I thought maybe we made a pact, but you gave in to foul temptations, making all the wrong moves and the wrong decisions, making lies up for all the right questions. Maybe I was just asking too much. Don't think it's likely you just made from all the wrong stuff, and you're best in me. Mona Lisa, you really done something, done a number on all of my organs. Mona Lisa, you really done something, done a number on all of my organs. Must say I commend you on all of your fire, soaring highs and drowning low, full speed ahead you go with all of your heartache. Talk crater 10 minutes to Tuesday. All the while you're showing your teeth, smiling and growling. I'm never sure. I just wait and see. Your bed's been made. Now go die in it. Mona Lisa, you really done something, done a number on all of my organs. Mona Lisa, you really done something, done a number on all of my organs. Been racking my brain, figuring out what to say, but it may be safe to bed. The day might still come where I forgive what you've done, but it still hasn't happened yet. And your bed's been made. Now go die in it. Mona Lisa, you've really done something. You're the black eyes on my road to wholesome. Mona Lisa, you've really done something, done a number on all of my organs. On all of my
We're performing Killing Time because it's the 10-year anniversary of Killing Time.
Whether or not there was a global pandemic, it still would have been 10 years old this year, and we would have done something. Probably a tour, I would say. Maybe perhaps a tour where we played many cities in the United States and
Wait, you mean
performed
in front
on
of
a
people?
stage in front of people.
This is actually kind of better because we're playing in front of the whole world
Yeah.
now.
the whole world is complimentary
We can
ticket.
knock it out
There'll
in
be
one day.
billions of people watching.
But let me ask you this: who's going to hit us up and be like, "When are you going to come to Brazil?" This now.
I mean, it's to me the way I look at this album in particular is really a kind of a turning point for our band, because we were on a new record label, and that record label supported us in ways for a minute that our previous record label didn't really. We just saw it as like bases were loaded. We had to hit a grand slam, and that label got us Gil Norton to help produce the record, and Gil Norton's a genius. Yeah, he's done Foo Fighters, Pixies, Jimmy Eat World. Like he's produced some crazy records. So he really helped us do what we wanted to do with this record, and I think that it was a good like next step for us as a band to do this record when we did it. I know we all worked our asses off, and then having Gil produce it really was awesome. So 10 years later, here we are. We play all these songs still, like to this day, you know, and our fans loved those songs immediately and still love them. So it's great. It's great to commemorate that.
Well, I had a place to live in, had a job worth quitting, had some things I had to chase. Mistakes, but we all make them. We celebrate being young, had the chance to run away. And I wish upon a satellite that one can turn right, but believe me that we are our only chance in the world. If fate should fail us, hope will see us through, and we are our only chance in the world. So stand for something, something's overdue. I don't ask for much, but this could define a lifetime. It's a dead man's head. We are the only friends we ever had. Oh, they call it education. Saw a means to an end. Saw my life another way. To live and die a king, I thought there could be worse fates I could land upon. I go back home when it all blew up in my face. And I wish upon a satellite that one can turn to right, but believe me that we are our only chance in the world. If fate should fail us, hope will see us through, and we are our only chance in the world. So stand for something, something's overdue. And I don't ask for much, but this could define my lifetime. It's a dead man's hand, but we are the only friends we ever had. You need a map to see how far I was sticking out my neck. We all have things that we all second guess, and fears of being ordinary. And I wish upon a satellite that long can turn around. So believe me that we are our only chance in the world. If fate should fail us, hope will see us through, and we are our only chance in the world. So stand for something, something's overdue. But I don't ask for much, and this could define my lifetime. It's a dead man's head. We are the only friends we ever had. It's a dead man's head. We are the only friends we ever had.
for me, this record is important because it's like our self-titled record was kind of like a breakout record, and then Walking Wounded was a pretty big record, and then with this one coming later and the fans loving it and it being a popular record, I think for me sort of solidified our legacy. You know what I mean? Because it told me that we weren't going to be like a one big record band. You know?
I just keep thinking about this like 2009 or I guess 2008 to 2011 era of Bayside, and you know, Shudder, although it's like a fan favorite, was a little bit of a step back in some ways. So that's why I think Killing Time ultimately was super important for us to hit that aforementioned Grand Slam.
That was also the first record we were allowed to take our time to write, and we didn't have to produce an album with the material in 2 months and have it recorded.
I feel like that was the most like lived in album.
Yeah.
I feel like we, between recording in Hoboken, New Jersey, and upstate, right? Was it
Woodstock.
Yeah, I feel like when I think of when we recorded that album and wrote it, I really felt like the direct correlation to that album I have is like home, like a permanent, like living in Excelsior, and
We named our living
living-
quarters Excelsior, by the way.
like living in Hoboken, and Steve, our good friend who tour managed for years, like was there with us, and yeah, it was the most like lived in record, and I feel like that comes across musically also.
Yeah, I mean, being on like a big label, we come from like such, like a punk background, and to say humble beginnings would be an understatement probably. And this was our first record that we were on a label that was basically like, whatever you want to do. They're like, who do you want to produce the record? I was like, well, the Foo Fighters' Color in the Shape record is really good. Who did that? Gil Norton. It's like, all right, how about him? And it's like, where do you want to do it? I don't know. Let's go to the woods for a little while. Rent a house in the woods. And it's like, all right, woods getting old. Let's go to a city. It's like, all right, Hoboken. So we could kind of just do whatever we wanted. We also had like at least an entire year where we didn't have to tour or really do anything. We were like just at home, and we were going into our practice space like a few days a week, every week, like kind of like a job.
No windows, yeah.
The funny part about this story is like we have such high remarks for like the first 20% of our career on that record label, and then everything else was just like, where's our record label? Where'd they go? They were so supportive, and then almost the second the album came out, it was like, ooh, what? Is anyone doing anything on that record?
They really front-loaded the experience for
Yeah.
us.
So it really was, for a real brief part of Bayside history, we really were supported there for a second to be super creative, and yeah, it worked out. We got a great record out of it, which is cool, but
Yeah, it was cool.
Then it was just the four of us again.
When I wrote the lyrics for Sinking and Swimming Long Island, we were on a break in between sessions for recording the record, and I went to Jones Beach by myself. I drove out to Jones Beach.
Which field did you park at? 4 or
Field
6?
4, always 4. Always 4. Animals at 4. I
Oh,
love
dude.
it. I love it. There's animals at 4. So I was at Jones Beach Field 4 by myself, and I was just like sitting in the sand looking at the ocean, and that's where all like the water metaphors
that.
came from in that song.
I like playing that song.
But that day, I also I was sitting down writing lyrics, and somebody came up to me, and they were like, "Didn't you used to be in Bayside?" And I was like, I am in Bayside.
You're like, I gotta check Twitter. I think they kicked me out.
Yeah, I was like, I am in Bayside. He's like, oh, cool. He's like, so I'm sitting writing in like a spiral notebook, and they're like, so what do you like, go to school now?
Like,
like,
you were
no,
confusing the shit out of me.
Writing songs that are going to change the world.
Dude.
Yeah. That was sinking. So that was when I wrote Sinking and Swimming in Long Island. Hello, the internet.
This place is dragging me down. A hamster wheel, I thought I'd be done by now. Now that all my but it's high tide and they get washed away with time. Till everything's gone, till everything's gone, I swear. Damn it all to hell. Damn it all to hell. And I think I finally found a way to go to heaven without dying, so I'm on my way. And the harder you work, the harder you fall. You wake up one day with nothing at all. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. And my good intentions keep sliding by the wayside, but it's high tide and they get washed away with time. Till everything's gone, till everything's gone, till everything's gone, till everything's gone, I swear. Damn it all to hell. This is the first scene of an act with my own hand stuck in my back. Around here, the puppet is the puppeteer, and I was down for the proverbial cat. So what do you want from me? Another song about apathy, heartbreak's a friend these days, but I couldn't care less. That's what I get paid to say. I am lost alive. You can't believe me, and my stomach knots. You can't see that. Whoa, I can't find my way. Whoa, I can't find it. Should I say something sensational? And life comes with some doubts. And now my life has become a circus in the center ring, and I'm the crying clown, so little too exciting on the trapeze. Swing with you, I go to the ground. The pain can be like a boomerang. Push it out, it comes back again. Heartbreak is a trend these days, but I couldn't care less. Never been a trendy anyway. I'm lost. You can't believe me, and my stomach knots, but you can't see that. Whoa, I can't find my way. Whoa, I can't find it. Should I say something sensational? Life comes with some doubts, but we'll roll along thinking everything is wrong. Watch our lives from afar, and looking back, it's not so bad. Realize what you've been missing. you couldn't care less. I saw those pauses, so you took the fight for every lie you told. You run out of fingers and start on your toes. Don't think you're on to something good right now. So let's go back to the starting place. And I believe in futures, but I can't afford to wait. You've been doing it the wrong way. And someday you'll find something that makes you feel okay. Until then you make your own way. You're the type of girl who puts on cyanide perfume, then asks for kisses on the neck from every boy in the room. So tell me now how you find yourself at the bottom of a bottle in a bar, and how your reflection reacts to you and your new scars. Don't think you're on to something good right now. I don't think you're on to something good right now. So let's go back to the starting place. I believe in futures, but I can't afford to wait. You've been doing it the wrong way. And someday you'll find something that makes you feel okay. Until then you make your own way. All's well that ends well. Finish with this game. There's got to be a better way than learning from your mistakes. A small step from man now, with you out of the way. But now it's up to make change, to make it so tomorrow starts today. This is the first record that it sort of launched our sound into where it still is now. I think before this record we leaned more punk, and I think this is where it got more rock.
Rock, yeah.
Which we still are now, I think. You know what I mean? This was kind of the first of our like rock era.
I remember looking. Sorry, you go.
That's okay.
You
You go first.
Okay. Let's go at the same time.
Okay.
Be quicker. I do remember that we kind of were like, there's going to be, if we're on a new record label, there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to hear us for the first time. So how do we want to introduce ourselves to people? And this is where we have this like punk, but more rock sound kind of.
Well, yeah, Wind Up did have more of like a radio presence for sure. So I think that the people that we worked with at the label were trying to position it a little bit more accessibly to mainstream. However, when we got into the studio, Gil was really quick to sort of remind us that we should definitely be what we are.
Yeah.
And I think he kind of, I know for me personally, he pushed me a lot to be just a more, a bigger version of what I had been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was never an emphasis for us to shy away from what we've been doing to become something we weren't. It was more magnifying each of our individual
Yeah,
contributions.
for sure. I mean, you hear stories about like labels, major labels and stuff that try to like turn you into something you're not, you know? And that's not what we had with Wind Up or Gil. But it was more, they were just harder on us, really. Like Wind Up, the label and Gil were like it could be better. You know, you bring songs forward, or you bring parts forward and be like, yeah, it's all right. It could be better.
It's
you
nice
know?
having that constructive criticism. I love that.
It's
like,
maddening at the
Yeah.
time. At least for me, it's fucking maddening because
Yeah.
you like work on this song, and you're like, it's fucking great. And then you play it and somebody's like, nah, could be better.
Isn't it so much easier just having someone just trash it, and then you're like, cool, well, I don't need to decide if it's good or bad anymore. It's just bad. I'll just do something else.
And then there's On Love on Life, which is the
You
piano.
learned to play piano to
I
play
learned
that
to
song?
play piano. That's like the only song I know how to play a piano on. But I remember I had the idea for that song, and I remember playing it for Gil on guitar, and then on guitar a different way, and then like maybe a rock version of it, and then a piano. There were so many. I was like, I don't know exactly what to do with this thing. So we wound up doing it on piano, and then Gil called the woman who did the string arrangements for Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Did you know that? That's who did the string arrangements on that
It sounded
on that
familiar.
song. And then I was like, I want there to be horns too. He's like, what do you mean horns? Like you're gonna put horns on us? I was like, I want it to be like. I remember this conversation. I was like, I want it to be like lounge act horns. I want it to be like Burt Bacharach. That's what I want the horns to sound like. And then somebody, I don't know, he called somebody who does horn arrangements, and they came back, and I was like, that's it.
We got to get Chuck Mangione and
Yeah,
Herb Alpert
yeah.
over here right now.
Yeah.
So I sit here writing words in our old place. They all come out as letters, and I contemplate mistakes that we all make at the start and the ending of errors. Mystery fades. We identify problems, but they may not be problems after all. Shock and dismay, they affect what we say. We should bite our tongues, we should bite our tongues, 'cause after all, it's only our lives anyway. And I can't let it bother me. Fact and fate just can't agree on love, on life. Can we stop taking ourselves too seriously? So I sit here carving words into the wall, words that remind me just how I was. I never felt as old and lonely as I felt when I was young and in love. When mystery fades, we identify the problems, but they may not be problems after all. Shock and dismay, they affect what we say. We should bite our tongues, we should bite our tongues, 'cause after all, it's only our lives anyway. And I can't let it bother me if fact and fate just can't agree on love, on life. Can we stop taking ourselves too seriously? Can't let it bother me if fact and if fate can't agree on love, on life. Can we stop taking ourselves too seriously? Too seriously. Too seriously.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a-
Killing Time only came out in, was it U.S. and Australia?
Yeah. Oh, it was Australia.
Australia, I remember because we were actually on the radio in Australia.
Yeah. Very
So, yeah.
famous. We're very, very famous. We're very successful.
At the farthest point from here. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not our choice that it didn't come out elsewhere. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But that's what keeps the record selling for like $100 on eBay. Right?
Well, it's true. They also didn't want to put it out on vinyl, and we were like, because they were like doing Creed records and Evanescence records and Finger Eleven records. So we're coming from the punk world. We're like, you got to put it on
Yeah, why would you
vinyl.
put it
They were
on-
like,
yeah, why
they were
would
like,
you not?
vinyl? You mean like
A record?
like vinyl?
They're like,
Vinyl?
hold on, let
But-
me fire up my time machine.
Yeah.
So we could go make
Right.
vinyl
We were like, what do you
records.
mean you're not going to do it on vinyl? So we actually worked out with them. We were like, well, trust me, people want it on vinyl. So if you're not going to do it, then we like need to reserve the right to do it ourselves. If you won't do it on vinyl. So it's actually in our original recording contract with them that we were allowed to release vinyls of it because they weren't interested. And that's why we're able to do this now.
Yeah.
Like
Yo,
we could do this deluxe version.
everything's hitting me while we're sitting here. Dude, what about when we went to sign the contracts and we went to the gigantic building, went up the elevator to go sign our contracts in like an office with a conference phone?
Yeah, they had
Like
like a
100-page
they had like a
contracts,
big
like-
proper like real record label office.
I was like,
yeah,
bring my fancy
Do you remember
pen.
where we signed our Victory Records contract?
on poolside.
In Adam Smiljan's dorm, bro.
Yeah,
Fucking
next to the
University of
pool
Florida.
at a dorm at the University of Florida in Gainesville
Yeah, you
was
killed
where
me.
we signed
So I mean, they're pretty.
because we were
similar.
crashing on the floor of our buddy's dorm.
Yeah.
It really was this like we're kind of like hinting at it, this really strange experience coming from like where we came from to like this like Killing Time point. I'm just like for me, I was like, yo, is this how like shit is on like that level that you think of music being at, you know, like
Yeah.
you know, signing the contract in like in an office and whatever, that's all kind of BS when you think of it. But I feel like for me, I think I was 25 at the time, I was just like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like this level of, like you said, where it was like, yeah, what do you want to do? We have the money to do it. Like
Right.
that to me was just like, yo, what the hell's going on right now?
Everything was very fancy. It was
Fancy.
always fancy, and everything was always impressive. Like the studio, when you look back on it, it's like, well, why'd the studio have to be in Times Square? You know what I mean? Like, who the hell was paying for that? But then you look back on it, and like by the end of that record cycle, it was like,
It felt normal.
well, to me, it like started sucking. I was like,
I gotta go to Times Square right now.
yeah. I mean, there was like we were doing all the radio stuff, and it sucked. We
Yeah.
hated it. We hated it. We just wanted to go back to like what we were doing before. I
Yeah.
think.
If I should fall down, would you wait for me? If I was out, would you be home? If I should pray, then would you pray with me? If I fell in love, would I be in love alone? And feeling half of what I thought it'd be. At what point does love become routine? Well, I had to wait, I had to wait, I had to wait to see that who you are is not who I hoped you'd be. No, I don't know where to go. I don't know if this thing's still working. My heart's not beating anymore. And I don't know if I'd leave, test it out just to see. 'Cause the best that I can hope to be is strong enough to leave. And I never lived and died by ecstasy. Fun's never been my cup of tea. But now I try, but now I try, now I try to be the best I can for no one else but me. And I don't know where to go. I don't know if this thing's still working. My heart's not beating anymore. And I don't know if I bleed. Test it out just to see. 'Cause the best that I can hope to be is strong enough to leave. It's such a shame, love, what those animals say to you. It's such a shame, love, what those animals say to you. And you're such a shame, love, what those animals say to you. What they do when they came for you, just think it through. You never learn what not to do. think it through. You never learn what not to do. Shame, love. You're such a shame, love. A shame, love. I don't know where to go. I don't know if this thing's still working. My heart's not beating anymore. And I don't know if I bleed. Test it out just to see. Is this the best that I can hope to be? And I don't know where to go. Don't know if this thing's still working. My heart's not beating anymore. Don't know if I bleed. Don't know if this thing's still working. The best that I can hope to be is strong enough to leave. And I had hope, it's the halfway point in between progress and belong forevermore. I am a faded sweatshirt, you forgot what's hanging on the closet door. But it's the ride, it's not the point, your hands are back, treating every day like it could be your last. One day it will, one day it will. We'll all praise you at this funeral for this life you tried to build. Spent all my life waiting for a moment to come, walking single file, waiting for a moment to come, but it won't. I'm halfway to happy now, and I always mistake it for progress. Morning comes and your bed's a safe place. Your eyelids blocking pain, but standing in the way. Stay off the brink to come whatever may. Hope for the best, but okay with anything. Let's get a life and allow ourselves to change. Don't be convinced that everything will stay the same. You're beating down like everyone, but can a person make a difference if he never makes a sound? And I spent all my life waiting for a moment to come, walking single file, waiting for a moment to come, but whoa, I'm halfway to happy now, and I always mistake it for progress. Spent all my life waiting for a moment to come, walking single file, waiting for a moment to come, but whoa, we all ought to test our will. A trial, I'm halfway to happy now, and I always mistake it for progress. For progress. For progress. For progress.
My favorite part was just that we wrote so many songs for this record. You know, I think that's why there are so many B-sides and this deluxe edition that we're doing. Like, we had so much extra content. Like, we're putting 10 bonus tracks on the deluxe edition, and we had to choose which 10 to include with it because we demoed some of these songs like 3 times. Like the album version of like At Least I Know Sick, Mona Lisa, some of those were like the 3rd or 4th time that we recorded those songs.
B-sides were recorded
At
in
Quad.
Times Square
Yeah.
studio. They sound very different from
I think
the,
there's
Different engineers. Different
yeah.
That's a good
audio like wise, they definitely sound different because they were recorded completely different. But I think those songs also, the reason they were B-sides is not because they weren't good songs. It's just I think we had like a cohesive feel for what Killing Time was, and the couple of songs we didn't put on there were just because we didn't feel like they fit the record. So a song like Don't Come Easy, I do remember, fun fact, that's the first song that we had written. I remember you playing it for like a demo of it for me in the back of the bus while we were on tour somewhere, and I was like, "Cool, first song written is a hit song," you know. So like that's how highly I regarded that song, and it didn't even make the record. And even kind of we played it on the acoustic tour a couple of years ago, which was a lot of fun to play that song. But it's still, I stand by it. It doesn't fit the record, but I think it's a great song.
Yeah.
Portrait of a real American boy who keeps his insecurities at bay. The king of Belvern in PA. He's got a car, his friends and him take up to the lake to narrowly escape. This town's like blue, they'd say, 'cause once you're here, you stay. The portrait of a real American boy, and it don't come easy. You're just working as hard as you can, but you'll never know if you don't let go. You define your own identity. The boy became a real American man, the product of a past that makes him man. Now he's turning to his back. He still works at the gas station doing tune-ups. Man, I think I had a shot, he'd say, if I could only catch a parade. Portrait of a real American boy, and it don't come easy. You're just working as hard as you can, but you'll never know if you don't let go. You define your own identity. It don't come easy. Just working as hard as you can, but you'll never know if you don't let go. You define your own identity. Identity. It's all this for, what are we ever working toward? Jobs and lovers always came and went. The story of his life was etched into a high heaven knows you're heaven sent. Skin stretches perfectly over perfect. There's bones that chain the greatest architects. This time there's nothing I can do. My heart is swelled to twice its size. I got everything to lose. Walk with me through a mind where everything is too good to be true. All chance is spent. But I don't believe in much now. I'll bring things up just to shoot them down. I guess just for the night I'll bend. This time there's nothing I can do. My heart is swelled to twice its size. I've got everything to lose. And I'm just good for a one-night stand. On nights I'll find something new. I can't control this monster I am. This time there's nothing I can do. My heart is swelled to twice its size. I got everything to lose. And I'm just good for a one-night stand. On nights I'll find something new. I can't control this monster I am. This monster I am. Oh. My friend, you're always the last one to leave those dimly lit rooms, making sure the last glass mix is waiting the table empty and every bottle in the place has been upside down at least a few times. What a waste. Is this what's left of you these days? You're not 18 anymore. 5 years should have been enough time for you to grow up, get over it. It's not too cool to be throwing up all morning sick from what you might have done or done it with. And I swear, if I could take your pain and frame it and hang it on my wall, then maybe you would never have to hurt it all. Painting pictures in red and blue, portrait bruised just like you. And now you're walking away, not 18 anymore. 5 years should have been enough time Throwing up all morning sick from what you might have done it with.
As much as I would like the music industry, especially then, I guess, to be like a meritocracy, like the harder you work, like the better off you are. Only so far you could go with just hard work, but up until that point, we've really busted our ass to get off Victory Records to sign to a good record label like Wind Up. So every little perk felt like we deserved it at that point, you know, like we had worked for it and gotten into that next step. And like you said, by the end of the record cycle, we kind of just wanted to go back though to how things were.
I remember like the day. I remember we were playing some stupid radio show.
Like an active rock festival.
Yeah,
in
some
Syracuse or
stupid
something.
radio show. It was us and Bush and Stone Temple Pilots in some field in upstate New York. There's like 10,000 people there. I was just so burnt on the whole thing. And I'm the Avalanche was playing a show. They were headlining something called Long Island Fest. The show was happening in like a catering hall in Long Island. And I was like, I would so much rather be there right now. Like, I wish we were playing a catering hall in Long Island instead of in front of these 10,000 people right now.
Instead of playing the 109, the Buzz.
Yeah,
Active
yeah.
rock.
Yeah, it was just lame. And
For
the
you,
I remember
Buffalo.
that there was a Confederate flag merchandise booth at the show. And I was just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Wait,
here?
how recent was this?
2010.
And I
2011.
called our manager and I was like, just start like anything they ask us to do, they being the label. I was like, just start saying no to like everything. And
Nate Dogg. That
Nate,
was Nate
and
Dogg,
Nate
right?
was, and Nate just did. He was like, I get it, dude, because our manager at the time was in the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, so he like came from the punk world, and then he saw he had the big hit too, so he was like, I get it, dude. So the label just started being like, hey, we need the guys to like play to a few contest winners on a fucking boat, like, you know what I mean? Like, we need them to go do this stupid thing, and he'd be like, nah, they're not gonna do it. I feel like our career and our lives have been so much better since that.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got what we thought we wanted, and then we realized we didn't. We were like, cool. So like, we're good then. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing really to chase. Let's just hang out and play music and go on tour and like just be psyched.
And then the
last
pandemic.
We're
mean,
not
even-
missing it. Like, you always thought you were missing something. Like, oh, you know, if we only had this, if we only had that, and then we had it all. We were like, nah,
We had all of it.
We weren't missing any of that
Yeah.
shit.
No, the shows are still good when they happen, if they happen. Please
I
let them
didn't have
happen.
one good show last year.
Didn't?
Last year, no good shows.
Did you watch any good shows?
So yeah, I did. So back here in the States, we did another co-headliner with Saves the Day. That was awesome. I'm the Avalanche in Transit, I want to say.
Oh, that was an awesome tour.
That was the
this is the
year-
year that we played like
90 days or 100 days,
100
shows
shows
with
with
Transit.
Transit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they also then we did my favorite Warped Tour ever. So this was what 2012 or 13 Warped Tour maybe. 14? I don't know, somewhere around there.
Was this
But
Neti
it
Pot
was the
year or
most-
Foot year?
Wasn't bar year,
That was
right?
the first year.
2009 was bar year.
it was
right?
bar year.
Yeah,
No,
it
no,
was bar year. It was
bar year.
bar year.
Bar year was definitely a.
We ran a bar backstage at Warped Tour. Ask your friends about it. It's
We
very awesome.
successfully ran a bar at Warped Tour. So much
But-
so that they stopped letting people run a bar backstage at Warped
Yeah,
Tour.
we ruined it for everybody. But
We made it better.
But that Warped Tour was really active. It was like Taking Back Sunday, Newfound Glory, Yellow Card, us, and then every other band that we've ever toured with.
Yeah.
Transit, Polar Bear Club, Man Overboard. We were all on the same stage. It was the only Warped Tour I felt like we went on that not only was fun, but I felt like we gained fans. Because then after that, that's when we really started to get close with Taking Back Sunday. Even though we're from the same spot, I think that was the first time we got to like hang out with them and chill. And then we immediately after that, I want to say that fall, did the Tell All Your Friends 10th anniversary tour. And again, that was just like we're finally playing in front of people who like know us but maybe have never seen us or only know one song, so we got a bunch of new fans then. And this is like really at the tail end of Killing Time's record cycle. And then that tour went well, And then a couple months later, Alkaline Trio asked us to go out with them, and we had previously played some shows with
Couple
them,
of-
gone on
yeah, handful of
small
shows.
tours with them. So this is really we should be like writing a new record, but we're like, let's just do one more tour, and it was with Alkaline Trio. So we really ended that Killing Time record cycle with probably a year and a half with the strongest touring we did on the record. It's just so much
Yeah.
support tour, playing in front of people who never saw us, and we were like a machine at that point.
Yeah.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
We were going out there and like winning fans, and
Was that Trio Europe or Trio US? That was
Both.
Trio. Oh my god.
Those were like back to back.
yeah.
The crazy thing is, I feel like we have a weird presence, and I think, especially with bands like Trio, where we're constantly compared to that band. But I think a lot of those fans that we played in front of have just heard of us, and they had a different idea of what we were. And I think that was my takeaway from touring with bands like well, maybe not TBS, but with like Trio, was that at the end of the show, people would be like, I thought you guys were just like an emo band. You guys didn't sound like that. You guys were awesome. You're like, oh, all right, well, thanks. So I think it was really nice to be able to be put in front of people that had a preconceived notion of us, and then be able to show them that, nah, we're better. What you thought were better.
Some days I get cursed. I don't know why it's so relevant. I'll take deep breaths, keep control, go on. Tried brave, tried safe, tried to keep it bottled up. I think I passed my prime, lost my mind. Torn. There's no telling what tomorrow. And who let these feelings out when all I did was try? Who let these feelings out? I can't get you out of my head. When you're the flame that burns me, so I know that I'm still alive. Some say it's all fake, but I say we control our lives. If my destiny should outlast me, it's fine. Now make believe will never be coexisting. It barely believe the truth is that I got no mind. No telling what tomorrow. No telling what love takes control. Who let these feelings out when all I did was try? Who let these feelings out? I can't get you out of my head. When you're the flame that burns me, so I know that I'm still alive. To anybody out there, is anybody calling? She said it's really wrong. Is anybody out there? Is anybody calling? She said it's really wrong. But I'm not in control. I think I'm out of control. And who let these feelings out? When all I did was try. Who let these feelings out? I can't get you out of my head. You're the flame that burns me, so I know that I'm still alive. It's getting cold. Thought it was soon to tell, but it was terribly old. And the heartbeat slows to a heartless crawl. And the lights went out, and darkness filled the destiny of two-hurt souls afraid to be Kiara again. That could be our epitaph. But I know no consequence. Sweetness, can you believe this? Mess we made of it, the mess we made of it. Just to calm it might make sense. Sweetness, can you believe this? What's become of it? What's become of it? Thought I'd known the consequence. Sweetness, can you believe this? Mess we made of it, the mess we made of it. In years to come it might make sense. Sweetness, can you believe this? What's become of it? What's become of it? And I know, well I thought I'd known the consequence. Sweetness, can you believe this? Mess we made of it, the mess we made of it. Years to come, it might make sense. Sweetness, did you foresee this? What's become of it? Oh, what's become? Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope we'll see you soon. Thank you. I'm trying to create something that's not there. A spark size, a bomb is just a means to an end. I was just so happy to be out of my shell again. Don't think that I really care for who or what, so for now I'll just have to keep it shut. Stop acting like you are. And how could I know that everything you said lies about devotion and desire? Inside your eyes was just a match I used to set myself on fire. My mouth shooting blanks, situations unbearable. I've gotten vulnerable now, anyone is free to won't sweat. My temper's been invaded, there's nobody guarding it. Lover, this lonely life. But once around the being over, the road's the only way I've ever known. The spark inside your eyes was just a match I used to set myself start feeling. And how could I know that everything you said lies about devotion and desire? I know the spark inside your eyes was just the match I used to set myself. You never called, never had me or nothing, set myself up to fall. I was stupid then to try. Now I'm living a lie, in a fantasy world, but the hero won't win this time. 'Cause the pipe dream gets flushed away. By all means, I'm getting out. Don't mean, don't feel sorry for ya. And how sad you're gonna be. I wish I could stick around to see your face when you realize you're permanently changed. And it's all thanks to me. I was wrong for.
Hello.
Being a bigger fish, I would like to point out that I am taller from here to here than I am from
We're just
here to here.
figuring this out.
Yeah, I've discovered that. Because I feel like when you sit up straight. Like, I'm almost your height here. But
You're
if
not
I
wrong.
Sit up straight.
Sit up straight. But if we're standing on the ground,
You have kids. You tell your kids to sit up straight.
not yet. I should. You know what I'm going to do tonight when I get home? Only one of them speaks English, so it's going to be hard.
Sorry.
Sit up straight.
Daddy's home. Sit up straight.
I'm standing up.
I didn't need the mic for that.
I,
That's not gonna make the
I
cut.
learned that when you have kids that you have to choose your battles, and sitting up straight is just not a battle that's
not
worth
on-
it.
That's not
It's just
one
not
of them.
worth it.